In this video, we are going to cover some of the organelles that you'll find inside a eukaryotic cell. Cells are the fundamental building blocks of life and they share certain features. There are two main kinds of cell that you need to know about, eukaryotic and prokaryotic. And because they share some of these same features, we need to have a look at them. So we've got a eukaryotic animal cell, a eukaryotic plant cell and a prokaryotic bacteria cell. Okay, and we're going to start by having a look at some of the features that you find in your eukaryotic cells before moving on and having a look at your prokaryotic cells. All cells contain a cell surface membrane, so both those eukaryotic and those prokaryotic cells. Now, they are arranged in this double layer called a bilayer, and they're made mostly of phospholipids, okay? So they have a phosphate head and two fatty acid tails. Now, you go into the structure of the cell membrane later in the course, but for now you just need to be aware that they control the entry and exit of substances into your cell. So the next organelle that we're going to have a look at is the nucleus. Now, the nucleus has many different parts, the nuclear membrane with nuclear pores, a nucleolus and the nuclear plasm. So let's have a look at that nuclear membrane first. Now, this is a double membrane, okay? That means it has an inner and an outer membrane with an intermembrane space. And it does the same job as your regular cell membrane, okay? It's going to control the entry and exits of substances into that nucleus, okay? And it's continuous with this thing here called the endoplasmic reticulum, okay? So more on that later. The membrane also has nuclear pores, okay? So these little circles here represent those nuclear pores, and they are there to allow larger molecules such as mRNA to exit. In general, your nucleus is about 10 to 20 micrometers in length. Next up, we have the nucleolus, okay? So this is the middle bit of your nucleus, and that's going to manufacture ribosomes, okay? Those ribosomes are needed for protein synthesis, and they're manufactured here. Finally, we've got the nuclear plasm. Okay, so this is the cytoplasm of the nucleus, if you like. Okay, and it makes up the majority of your nucleus. It's where all the genetic material is, okay, and it's in this uncondensed form called chromatin. Only condenses into forming chromosomes before your cell is about to divide, okay? But it's usually found as this kind of scramble of uncondensed chromatin. So we have looked at the nuclear membrane, the nucleolus and the nuclear plasm. Next up, let's have a look at the endoplasmic reticulum. There are two kinds of endoplasmic reticulum, the rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This one here is the rough endoplasmic reticulum and it is connected to the nuclear membrane, okay? So it's one long membrane. Now, if we have a look at a whole cell diagram, okay, we can see here that this blue section is your endoplasmic reticulum. Now, the rough endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes attached, so its main function is protein synthesis. It's made up of these flattened sacs called cisternae, and the ribosomes are attached on the membranes on the outside. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum has a different role, okay? Its role is to synthesize and transport lipids and carbohydrates. So in this cell diagram here, this lighter blue section is our smooth endoplasmic reticulum. As you can see from this diagram over here, it still has the flattened sacs called cisternae, but it doesn't actually have any ribosomes attached, okay? So that is why it's known as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The next organelle that we're going to have a look at is the mitochondria. So we've zoomed in from that cell image before and we can see these two here are the mitochondria. Okay, so we've got some labels at the bottom. A mitochondria contains cristae, an outer membrane, an inner membrane and a matrix. Okay, and it is the site of aerobic respiration and the production of ATP. In general, they're about 1 to 10 micrometers in length. Okay, so we have the double membrane. It's folded to form the cristae. The cristae provide a larger surface area for enzymes involved in respiration. And the matrix. The matrix contains DNA, proteins and enzymes needed for the reactions of respiration. Okay, so you do need to be able to label a diagram like this. Okay, finally, as part of this section, you may also need to be able to recognise electron micrograph images of these organelles. So here we have an A, B and a C. Why don't you take a few minutes just to see if you can work out what they are for yourselves. Okay, did you get them right? So we have the endoplasmic reticulum, the mitochondria and the nucleus. So in this video, we have covered the structure of some organelles within the eukaryotic cells. We've looked at the cell membrane, we've looked at the nucleus, the endoplasmic reticulum and the mitochondria.